Okay. Is that better? Is that better? Thank you. I didn't know. I had a whole conversation all to myself because I did not know that the volume was on. But is it on now? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? No? No feedback yet? If you hear me, I guess you can't wave. So if you hear me, say hi. Say you can hear me. Yay! Okay, cool. Thank you. Okay, so the first thing before last night, as I was getting ready for this, one of the things that I did was I took the time to look at a couple things. Initially, it was supposed to just be regular mental health Q&A, not talking about anything in particular. But as I was doing a little bit of research last night, I started looking at, or it reminded me of some of the stuff that's been going on since the pandemic. And I will go over a couple of numbers. Apparently, normally, mental health issues, about 1 in 6, actually 10 years ago, it was 1 in 6 people who experienced mental health issues over the course of a year. And when I looked it up last year, a couple weeks ago for something else that I was doing, it was down. It was up to 1 in 5, meaning that 25% of Americans every year experience some type of mental health issues. But the CDC recently did a study and they were looking at mental health issues, whether people were experiencing mental health issues since the pandemic, and that number had jumped super high to, I believe it's 40.9%, meaning half of Americans who responded. And their sample size wasn't great. It could have been better, but it was still a pretty good sample size because they had 5,450, almost 5,500 people responded to the survey. Good morning, Jen. Good morning, Alize. Yay! I'm so glad you guys are here. Yeah, so about half of the people who responded reported experiencing some type of mental health issues during the pandemic. 30% reported experiencing anxiety or depression, and about 26% said it was issues related to the pandemic. But what was really, really bad was the fact that people who already had some type of mental health related diagnosis, people with anxiety, 72, almost 73% were experiencing more issues. People with depression, 68%. People with PTSD, 88%, almost 90%. And the most alarming one was the fact that about 10% of people who responded reported that over the 30 days before they did the survey, about 10.7% of them seriously considered suicide. And that part is bad because normally on a regular everyday random Tuesday, it's about 4% of Americans who experience or who would consider suicide. But at that point, it was right now it's about 10%. That means that if you run into 10 people today, one of them seriously thought about suicide. So I thought that was pretty rough. So questions, thoughts, concerns. I want to hear, what do you guys have? What questions do you guys have? So that's the biggest issue that I would like, or that's the biggest thing I would like. I see we have it's really coming up. 11 people are here. That's awesome. I can continue to share stats, but I would rather answer questions since this is supposed to be a Q&A. Let's see, what information can I share? I've put in a couple. At least I will put in a few important numbers that I would really love for you guys to share with people if you would like, or if you can. Things like the national helpline, which 24 hours a day, suicide prevention line, which apparently a lot more people need right now because it's 10% of people are experiencing suicidal thoughts, which is really bad. Hi, friend. How are you? Oh, so my thing is, actually, first, please share. If you haven't shared, please do think about sharing with your network, especially if you're logged in on Facebook and all these other things. Please share so other people can join us, because I would really love to get some questions. What questions do we have? No, nobody? Come on, y'all need to ask me a question so I could, I don't want this to be a whole just me talking. Okay. Well, a couple things. Oh, since the pandemic started, I've been posting a bunch of. I think my pandemic playlist is about like 50 some odd. Oh, I had a good question. Okay, let me answer this question first. Unfortunately, the study did not go that too deep into the stats for the suicide rates. I think the only group specifically identified was Hispanics, but they didn't really go into the details of racial background. They identified that people in lower income families, had a little bit higher rate than than everybody else, but that was pretty much the only thing. They said the rate among Hispanics was a little bit higher as well, but they didn't provide the rate for the Black community. But again, because we've been going through so much, and we know that over the years, the suicide rates and suicidal behavior rates have been a little bit higher for people in the Black community. So it's been tough, but we're working through it. Unfortunately, see, the thing with research is that it all depends on who's paying for it and what that person is doing. So in order to get more research that's more focused on that addresses the issues of the Black community, we're really going to need to get to the point where we're having people who are doing research with the intention of helping the Black community, and not necessarily just some major company that's paying someone to do research to confirm something they want, to sell something they want. So that's the big thing. We do have Black researchers. It's when you do research. I was I was an associate editor for a journal at one point. And here's the process. I conduct a research as the researcher. I write the paper, I submit it to the journals, and now when I submit it to the journal will submit it to 3 or 4 or 5 reviewers depending on their process. And those reviewers will make a recommendation, publish or don't publish. So I guess one of the things we are going to need to work on as part of this whole thing with inclusion is making sure that we have more reviewers who are interested or who are looking and caring about the issues in the Black community, because as we know, we have the whole issue with institutional racism and people really focusing on what matters to them and their own community as opposed to what matters to all of us in particular. So if we could have more reviewers who are interested in Black issues, this may be a better opportunity for us to get more of the research that focus on our issues to be published. So I don't know where I was going with that, but that's one of the reasons we don't have all the data we want on the Black suicide rates and Black issues. Another question. Thank you for the question, friend. She says, where did the question go? How can we help reduce teen and young adult suicides? Well, that one again is a really good one, because when they said 10% of the people who reported suicidal thoughts or suicidal ideation, the highest rate of report was in people 18 to 24. It seems like the study only focused on adults, not necessarily adolescents. So they are definitely having a much higher suicidal thought ideation rate. Here's the thing. Many of our younger people, our kids and young adults, this is probably the first, not probably, this is definitely the first major crisis they're experiencing. They're barely getting to the point of, hey, let's learn how to do this adulting thing, and then you throw the world on fire. So they're struggling. First thing we need to do is make sure that we're being there for them. Teenagers, especially, we know that a lot of times they don't necessarily come out and say, hey, something's wrong with me, I'm hurting, please help me. They become attitudey, they become moody, they become unbearable, they become that person you want to just shut the door and lock them in. But when they're doing that, that's probably when they need us the most. So one thing we have to make sure that we're doing is being there for them, paying attention to the behaviors. Again, children, I always tell people, children do not use words to express things like emotions. They express anger. That's it. That's pretty. Some kids they have the vocabulary, but for the most part, they don't use it. It's in the behavior. So make sure you're paying attention to your child. If you notice, hey, my kid who used to be super awesome, playful, really caring about his or her siblings is now acting in a specific way, just make sure that you're paying attention to those things and talk to them. They may not want to talk, but they will hear, they'll kind of listen. And if you're showing care, that will come through. They may not necessarily say, hey mom, this, that, and the other, thanks for caring, but they'll hear you. And when you're making sure, or when you're putting yourself out there, when you're making yourself available, it makes it easier for them to, if it finally happens, when they get to that point where they're willing to talk, then it's easy, more likely they will talk and say, hey, this is going on with me. Hey, or they may cursorily ask for help. They may not necessarily say, hey, I want help, but they may ask you questions like, hey, what is therapy? Where do people get therapy? How do people get therapy? What happened? They may ask the question more asking for a friend, kind of. Instead, I'm not asking for me, but I'm asking for a friend. So when they start asking for a friend, then you need to be a little bit more attentive. The other thing is, I always tell people, especially teenagers, in the Black community, we have a thing for this, where one, we don't believe in mental health issues. And I know Haitians for sure, I know, we believe that our children are too well off to be depressed. Our children have way too much to have issues, but we can't dismiss them. If the child finally musters up the, what do you call it? The courage to say, hey, this is going on with me, don't dismiss it. Whatever they tell you, if they tell you, hey, I'm feeling sad, take it as that and work from there. If they tell you, hey, I need help, take it as that and work from there. Work with them, whatever it is, whatever emotion the child shares, that's their emotion. I always tell people, feelings are not debatable. Feelings are absolutely not debatable. Whatever the person is feeling, that's where they are. So being there for them is probably the easiest thing we can do. Making sure that we continue to talk to them, continue to share with them, and even when they're pushing us away, even when they're being absolutely little monster kids, still realize that, hey, yeah, this is my beautiful little kid that's acting like a demon right now, but I still love you and I'm gonna be there for you. That kind of stuff. Vicky, hi Vicky, thanks for the question. Vicky says, can you address some of the different types of depression? Sure. The main thing that we're experiencing right now is probably that situational depression. Normally, we talk about depression that is induced by something, and there's also some people experience chronic depression, which or clinical depression. That clinical depression, that one's easiest. Let me do that first. Clinical depression is usually experiencing depressive symptoms, with the main characteristics of clinical depression that separates it from your situational depression is that it does not need a catalyst. It doesn't need something to happen. If you suffer from clinical depression, your depressive symptoms can just come on because it's Tuesday. they don't really need a specific reason. They just, you suffer from depression, and on any given day, more often than not, especially if you're not taking time to address the issue, more often than not, any given day, you could experience symptoms of depression. However, and the intensity for clinical depression, the intensity of the symptoms is usually a bit higher, or significantly higher, I would say, than your everyday depression. Your a person who's suffering from clinical depression, it's not just that they're feeling sad. It's like there's a weight. It's like it's like having an elephant sitting on your soul. That's how bad it could be. But right now, what a lot of people are experiencing is more of that situational depression, something that is brought on by something else. The pandemic, the anxiety of the pandemic, the insecurity of the pandemic, especially in the Black community, we have everyone is having it, but the Black community is having it even more. We have all the racial tension that is happening and causing a lot more anxiety. So because of that, the depression in the Black community is that much higher. And because of that, we need to be paying attention. And what often happens when people are experiencing depression that's situational, sometimes we just think, oh, I'll just leave it, I'll just let it go through it, and finally it gets to the point where it blows up. Situational depression will come and go. It doesn't last the full 2 straight weeks that your clinical depression would normally last. But you may be experiencing the symptoms right now, and then something happened. Maybe you get something good happens, and you step out for a bit, and then maybe when you go back home later, the symptoms come back. But with clinical depression, until you do something about it, it doesn't go away. It just stays there and just at you until what we can do for if you are clinically depressed, if you've been experiencing depressive symptoms for more than 2 weeks, definitely reach out to someone. One of the things I've been preaching lately is the use of employee assistance programs. And I'm very happy to see I've been getting a lot more clients who are coming from their EAP, which is awesome, because right now with the EAP, they cover the service free. They usually give anywhere from 5 or 6, but recently one of my clients came in with 10 sessions, which was unheard of. So if you are experiencing something and it's been going on for a little bit, just reach out, call someone, call your EAP, call your health insurance, figure out how to get some help. And 211 is always a great resource, especially for people looking for free or lower cost assistance. So just try those. For situational depression, I've posted a couple of different videos on what we can do, but the main thing we need to be doing is making sure that we're staying active, that we're staying engaged, and we're living a purposeful life. Because with those situational things, the longer we're in our head, the easier it is for the symptoms to manifest. So if you are allowing yourself opportunities to engage in life affirming activities, opportunities to do certain things, then it makes it a little bit easier for your to get a break from the depressive symptoms, enough of a break so that you can work on figuring out how to manage the symptoms. First name, last name. She says, I'm going through something right now. After 30 years, I was finally recognized something of historical significance I did when I was in grade school. Oh, that's awesome. Or I think that's awesome. I'm guessing that was a good thing. Wait, I'm confused. I finally got media covered on it. I keep thinking the lost opportunity. Oh, so you did something awesome and it didn't get recognized until 30 years later. If I had been, I think it would have. That, of course, yeah, I am absolutely there with you. I get it, because a lot of times we do our children in the Black community, yeah, they don't get the same attention. They don't get the same they don't get the same opportunities that that other children may get. Unfortunately, yeah, the opportunities maybe there were opportunities that were missed over the past 30 years, but right now you can still figure out how the instead of working on instead of thinking about the opportunities that were missed, see how you can capitalize on it, because if you had the greatness in you to do great things back then, that didn't vanish, that's still there. So how can you harness that greatness? How can you harness, what can you do with the same person who did those things way back then? You can still do other things. So maybe, I don't know what it is that you did, but maybe you can find a way to get some especially you said now you finally got media coverage. Hey, use that. If you get media coverage, use it. When you finally get it, use it. So make sure that focus on where you can take it from there. What did you do? Whatever it is that you did, and if you finally got media coverage, how can you capitalize on it? I always tell people, when the opportunity comes, don't sit back, take it. One of the, I recently was talking about have been talking about this person who did for something get a lot of great media coverage and then just sat on it, didn't really do much on it, and then it kind of like that name faded out. But don't let that happen. If you did something awesome and it's finally getting recognized, capitalize on it. The Kardashian the whole thing, because when it, take that opportunity and just take it to the next level. Just use every little bit of it that you can. Let's see. No more questions. Come on, somebody ask me a question. Um, let's see. I do have a little note sheet that tells me a couple things. Well, thank you guys for being here. That's what I need to say. It says I have 15 people are watching. Nice. Thank you. If you're watching, thank you so much for watching. Please ask me a question. Um, let's see, what else was I gonna say? Oh, and if you're watching and you haven't shared, please take a moment to share, because I want other people, so that your friends can come out and watch with us and just say more stuff. Okay, absolutely. Oh yes, please do, because it helps with the Q&A if I actually have people talking to me. Yes, it helps make it a real Q&A. One of the things that I always talk about is the importance of positive thinking. There's actually a book that I started working on that I haven't had an opportunity to finish, but called Flipping the Switch, where which talks about how to change negative thoughts into positives. Because again, right now we're looking at that we're living in this pandemic. And of course, Florida, the hold my beer state. Okay, digressing for a bit. At the beginning, I said, don't nobody hold Florida's beer. Somebody held the beer for Florida, because everyone was saying, New York, New York, New York, New York is the biggest, New York is the hottest, New York is the hotbed. And then whoever it is, we're going to have at 3:00 in the back of the school. We're going to have a conversation, just a conversation. Somebody held the beer for Florida. And now Florida is still the hotbed. The other day I looked, and Florida had over, I think it was like 70 something hundred, definitely more than 7,000 new cases. When I looked, I think it was yesterday or the day before, they had over 3,000, almost 4,000 new cases. So we are in that moment of a lot of stuff is happening. But with any time that things are going on, it's all about how we're thinking about it. Right now, it's like the nation, the world is in crisis. More like Florida is in crisis. Yeah, more like Florida is in crisis, but we need to make sure that we are taking care of ourselves and finding positive ways to look at. Yes, thank you, Vicky. I like it. But I don't know what just happened. Okay, can you guys see me? Because this thing is wait, what just happened? It's here. So why isn't it coming? Yeah, there it is. Okay, sorry. Okay, so I guess because I wasn't on that screen, it kind of vanished for a minute there. Sorry. Okay, so where was I? I was talking about, oh yes, talking to people who need therapy but are not. It's a touchy question because sometimes telling a person that they need help, they can feel that it's more of a people can look at it more like a criticism or an insult, or so you're trying to offend them. You can first bring up the question in a regular conversation, but this again is one of those random Tuesday type of conversations. This is something that you talk to someone when things are not going on. It's not something that when in the middle of an argument or while something is going on, you shout, you need to go seek therapy. But it's more of a regular random Tuesday. We're having a conversation where you can bring up the conversation. And the other thing is focus on behaviors, focus on facts, focus on the hard observations and not so much the thoughts. Not that I think you need therapy, more that hey, I noticed you've been doing this, I noticed that particular behavior, I noticed this particular issue, hey, you seem to be experiencing that particular issue. Tell the person what specific behaviors, what specific observations that you've made that make you think that, hey, maybe seeking therapy might help. And then once you I address the reasons that you're thinking therapy could be helpful to that person, then you could talk to them about, hey, maybe you can seek help, maybe we can and then don't just say, hey, go seek help. If this is a person that you have that kind of relationship with, offer to walk the journey with them. More things like helping them look for a therapist. Maybe this is your spouse, maybe this is your child, maybe this is a friend. Offer to go through the process with them. Offer to help them find a therapist. Offer to help them look through the insurance stuff to get information for a therapist. Offer to be offer to be alongside them, but by no means do not have the conversation in the middle of a critical or a crisis issue. If the person is busy yelling at you, no, now is not the time to tell them about therapy. If the person is in that really bad state of, I don't know what they're doing, just leave it until random Tuesday conversations can happen. I hope that answered the question. Thanks, Elsie. I have been on antidepressants since I was 16. I'm 48 now. Is there a way I can get off these tablets? Some people go through that journey of they are on medication, and then they find ways to work to work themselves off the medication. The only one of the reasons a lot of times it doesn't happen is because working your way yourself off the medication is a lot of hard work. Sometimes people just don't have the energy to make that investment. Things like changing your diet is probably the first thing I would recommend. Making sure that you're eating a healthier and definitely a more natural diet. It seems to have helped a lot of people. I've heard people say that a vegan lifestyle helps. I don't know. That's just what I've something that I've been hearing a lot more of lately. But then again, the whole vegan thing is new and a lot of people are talking about it. A lot of people are going vegan. So that may be part of why, but a healthy, natural diet is the first thing. The other thing is making sure that you're exercising, making sure that you're moving, you're getting that physical activity. And talk therapy is very helpful because talk therapy helps you figure out how to manage, but not how to address the issues. Because the way it's talked about is, our thoughts dictate our feelings, dictate our actions, dictate our thoughts, dictate our feelings. So it's a circle. Going through going through, what do you call it, working with someone from with talk therapy, you could get and learn some new skills that may help you. Oh yeah, one person like, wait, why haven't all of y'all liked my thingamajig? Please let me see some likes. Where was I? Going through talk therapy can help you develop some skills that will help you better learn to manage situations, better learn to control or manage your thoughts, manage the way you're experiencing life. And that may help with reducing the depression, because it's once you reduce the symptoms, then you have less of a need for the medication. So in order for it to really work, you're going to have to first figure out all the behavioral things that you can do to help you manage or reduce your symptoms in order for it to start working. I hope that helps. If not, just let me know and I'll see. Fran, explain the importance of counseling and psychotherapy. As I was saying, therapy helps you figure out behaviorally and helps you develop the skills. One of the things that I always say that I like, or my wish for my clients is that they get the skills so that they never need me. They don't need me anymore. And when you come to therapy, thanks for the 2 people who likes it. When you go through therapy, you work with your therapist on certain skills. You work with your therapist on learning new behaviors, replacing problematic thoughts, replacing problematic behaviors with new behaviors that are more productive, new behaviors that help you live a healthier, stronger life. So going through, anytime people are on medication, I always recommend that you mix the therapy and the medication, because the medication, what I like about it, the medication gets you, it's like the medication is the anesthesia and the therapy is kind of the surgery. I don't know if that's a good analogy, but the medication helps you get to a place where you feel stronger, where you feel healthier, where you have the energy, where you have whatever it is that you need in order to work through the symptoms, work through the issue, eliminate the symptoms or the issue. But the therapy is usually how you learn how to manage, how to develop those skills, what it is that you need to do in order to remove or eliminate the symptoms. With medication, because the medication is just, I got a better analogy. The medication is the anesthesia, and therapy is the part of setting the broken leg back. You can take all the medication you want. You can continue on medication forever. However, if you, I know I may not have seen it. So please ask again. Yeah. So if you can take all the medication in the world, but if you're not doing something to fix the issue, you're always going to need the medication because the issue will still be there. Meaning you can take all the Advil in the world, but if you didn't go get that broken leg put back into place, you're still going to be in pain, and you're always going to have to continue to, what do you call it? You're always going to have to continue taking Advil, because otherwise, wait, how far back is this thing? People are saying they're seeing me now. Yeah, so if you don't take the time and do that. COVID, we don't even know what is going on, because yes, the new symptoms, the new side effects are, we're learning as we go. And I can understand why your depression would get worse after testing positive for COVID because COVID added stress, COVID added, and then you went and were taking probably medication, and then you were doing other stuff that probably took your system out of whack. Medication does that, and that is one. Medication does that. Make your, she says, my dreams are extremely vivid nightmares. I've heard some medications do that, and I have heard that as a symptom of COVID, having those really I've heard that people have those really vivid, really lifelike, and very traumatic dreams. One thing, again, because this is a different situation, we don't know if this will work, but one thing I always, a friend actually taught me this years ago when I was having just ridiculously crazy, weird dreams. And I was sharing that with a friend who is also a therapist. And she talked to me about planning, or more like I guess producing my dreams, deciding what I want to dream about. And one thing, and pretty much speak before I go to sleep, saying what it is that I want to dream about. Again, I don't know that this will work for this particular issue because this one is the new situation. So I started, before going to bed, I started thinking butterflies and flowers, and I'm kind of a nature person. So I started talking about how I was going to dream about butterflies and flowers, and seeing and visualizing butterflies and flowers before I go to sleep, and as I started falling asleep. And I did start notice, as I started to frame or plan my dreams out, I stopped getting those. I don't know if I actually dreamt about butterflies and flowers, but I know that the bad dreams did kind of stop. So I hope that helps. The other thing is making sure that you're addressing the symptoms, that you're addressing the trauma. Yes, you experienced it in a dream. Did she laugh about? You're laughing about my butterflies and flowers, aren't you? So, but after you wake up, that trauma may still be with you. So making sure that you're taking care of yourself, that you're taking care of your body, and doing whatever it is you need to do in order to deal with that trauma. To, like, the self-care stuff, definitely. If you have access to a therapist, if you don't have a therapist right now, call your EAP. I think EAPs should really definitely start giving me a royalty, because I've been promoting them like crazy. But find a way to address the trauma, because it's staying with you all day. And as you wake up having experienced that trauma, and then when you go back to sleep, you spend the whole day kind of carrying that trauma with you. So when you go back to sleep, because you spent your whole day with the trauma, it's still there. So finding opportunities to break it up, to deal with that trauma, so that you remove it from your day, can help you get to a better space a better headspace when you're going back to sleep. What are alternative options for parents with a child who they suspect has ADHD? Best thing, one thing that has worked for many parents, especially when I worked with children, I saw that a lot. The parents who invested, and yes, it is an investment, finding a way to get children to eat healthy. The most successful parent that I had, and they were blessed in the fact that one of the parents was a stay-at-home mom, and she was able to really make that investment. Changing the diet of that child helps a lot. Changing that diet, making sure that they're on a healthier, no or less sugar type of diet, giving them opportunities to do things within their own window. Even a child with ADHD has a little bit of this little block of time that they will work and will focus on something. Make sure that you're working with your child within that little circle or square of their own windows. So if the child has an attention span of 10 minutes, give them 10-minute assignments or break their whatever it is that they have to do within that 10-minute time frame, and help them learn how to manage, how to self-regulate. Help them learn how to manage things on their own so that they're able to do whatever it is that they're working for. And I tell parents, don't get frustrated. That child is doing the best that they can with their little child body and their little child brain, with their little child selves that they can. So it does seem, it could be very frustrating because you tell that child to do things 157 times and they still forget. Don't get frustrated. Really, really, really pack your patience when it comes time to working with children. I believe I shared a video on working or teaching your child with ADHD, which I think was really some. I don't know why the universe did that to parents, but hey, Mac, I see your thumbs up. I see you, Mac. But can you hit the like button too? But thanks for the comment. I like the thumbs up. So that would be the main thing I would do. The other thing is talk to when they do go back to school, make sure that you're talking to the teachers and having the teacher help you continue the system that you guys set up in line in your house. But that child has to be on a very regimented system that gives them the times they must absolutely have time to be children. They must have that time to just have fun and run around and be children and waste and exercise and just burn that energy that they have. But the working with them in smaller blocks, smaller chunks, that makes sense for them. And the other thing is make things fun. If something is fun, if you can find ways to make, for instance, if you want your child to clean her room or his room, find a way to make it fun. Because if they are having fun, they're more likely to get lost into an activity, which is why you'll like, somebody may have ADHD and you see them sitting there for 2 hours playing a game because they're enjoying that game. That game is captivating. That game has their attention. So whatever it is that you're asking the child to do, find a way to make that whatever capture their keep their attention. Find a way to grab their attention. Song, cleaning up. I always like make it a dance party. Music, what do you call it? Music, dancing, having fun, and just enjoying having a ball. And before you know it, the room is clean and you're tired. Let's see. What advice can you give caretakers or parents that are caring for someone with mental illness? You're part of the equation. That's the biggest advice I can give people, because a lot of times people feel guilty taking that time away from whomever they're taking care of in order to take care of themselves. But you have to, the best gift, the best thing you can do for anyone who depends on you, anyone who relies on you, the best thing you can do for them is to take care of yourself, to make sure that you're good, that you're in a good space. Otherwise, they're not gonna be good. So make sure that you're taking care of yourself. Talk to other people, talk to relatives, talk to friends, talk to whomever you gotta talk to get some respite time, to get a little bit of break away from the responsibilities of caring for someone, because it gets trying. It gets difficult. It's not because the person wants to be difficult. The person, I'm sure, wants to do and be as, I don't know, I'm sure they would love to be that person, that easygoing, that easy to deal with. But sometimes it's not always possible. Sometimes things don't happen as we would like, but making sure that you're taking care of yourself, making sure that you're giving yourself time to rest and time away from the responsibility. The other thing is, people with mental illness are not complete invalids. They can do certain things. The person may have a mental illness, but that does not mean that they are completely non-functional. So allow the person to be allow the person to be, allow them to do things for themselves. If there are things that they can do for themselves, let them do it. If there are, when they need your help, yes, definitely step in, do whatever you need to do to help. But when there are things that they can do to help them, they can do for themselves, let them do it. Allow them opportunities for autonomy is I guess a better way of saying it. Empower them to not just be someone who is ill, but just be a regular human person who just happens to have whatever the situation is, whatever it is that they have going on right now. So that would be my best advice for someone taking care of someone. Okay, the chat seems to have stopped. I don't know. Are you guys still out there? If you're out here, say hey. No? Oh, my thing is, let's see. Okay, what else do I have? Okay, I need a new question. Let me see if, friend, what was your, oh, I guess that was your question. Other things. What other, oh, couple things you can do right now to help with mental health. Hey, hi, first name, last name. I love this name. Hi, Vicky. Couple things that that I've been sharing as far as trying to, I guess, keep your sanity during this pandemic, especially if you live in the Hold My Beer state, aka Florida. We need to be making sure that we are getting out. No, don't go out in the bars and like with these other people that don't go out. We in Florida, we are blessed to have a great deal of nature. If you saw my videos as I started the pandemic, was when I started adding a little bit of nature to my videos as the background. I tried to do that today, but it didn't really work out. But getting out in nature, we have so many parks, so many different places, so many different opportunities for us to be out, for us to enjoy the environment. That's one of the easiest, one of the least expensive, one of the most accessible, because there is a major park within, I would say 10 to 15 minutes of just about anywhere we live. Make sure that we're getting out. Make sure that you're going out for walks. Make sure that you're going out. Even my preference would be if you took the time to go all the way to a park, that you would walk and get some exercise while you're there. But even if all you do is go there, sit down and enjoy nature for a little bit, that can be so helpful. That can be so refreshing, especially if you're experiencing issues, anxiety, or depression, or any issue that you may be experiencing. Taking the time to just get out and be in nature for a little bit would be very helpful. The other thing is reach out to other people. We're all in this, we're all experiencing our own issues, but sometimes being able to take the time and have a conversation with someone, not necessarily about all the mess that's going on, but just to have a conversation with someone and just be reminded that, oh, you know what, there are still great things here. I had fun talking to this friend. I had fun hanging out with that person. One of my favorite recommendations that I've been making for since the pandemic is for having drinks on the porch. Meet with your friend and you can stay on one side of the porch and your friend can be on the other side of the porch. Y'all have drinks together like that. Because I don't really want to recommend people go to the bar. Sorry, bar owners. I don't want to recommend people go to the bar and have drinks, but definitely you could have a porch date with a friend and just hang out, or do anything you can do that's outside while keeping that we're still socially distancing, and taking time to just what do you call it, zen out. Meditation is a good way. Prayer is a good way. Sometimes just sitting down and just letting your brain, you just letting your body just relax and just do some deep breathing or anything like that would be really helpful as far as getting you to that quiet place. Just take at least once a day, take an opportunity to quiet your mind. What else can you do? journaling is one of my favorite things to recommend because it lets you take all of that stuff that's inside your head. It helps you take it out. It helps you put it somewhere. If you need to burn it after you write it down, just go write it out. And once you're done, you just poured everything into it. Just burn it. Or you can keep it, but burn it. And do a burn ceremony where it's like as you're burning the paper that you've written everything on, you are also getting the opportunity to kind of burn and release the feelings, the thoughts, and just the like, yay, go away feelings and thoughts. Let's see what else. Okay, oh shoot, it's almost 10:30. I can't believe you guys stayed with me. Thank you so much. I don't have any questions, and we're getting to that end of the hour, which was, I did say this was gonna be an hour. I think this was fun. I'm so glad I did it. So Elise, thank you for pushing me because I have been saying I would do it and just have not done it. So I'm glad I did it. So if you're out there and you can hear me, did you like this little Q&A thing of me talking way too much? If you liked it, give me a thumbs up or say yay or say something. Tell me you liked it. No? Oh, I keep forgetting there's a delay in this thing. Let's see. I think that's about all I have. Any other quick questions before I jump off, before I get out of this thing? Let's see. No, I don't have anything coming in, so I don't. Okay. So I think this was good. I'm definitely. Thank you, Vicky. See, she follows instructions. Everybody else follow instructions. Do like Vicky. She gave me like 2, 4, like 9 thumbs up. Cool. Thank you. First name, last name. I got it. Thank you so much. I'm glad. I am glad you guys came through. I hope that it was helpful. I hope that you learned something. Oh, great. So that was my main goal, that at least one person learned something. So I think I can go to sleep now. I have done what I got up today to do. One person got information. So I hope others of you also found it informative. If you have other questions, please just don't hesitate, reach out, let me know what the questions are. And hey, you know what? Before I jump off, I think one of the things that I want to do is kind of like a debriefing, especially like I want to do like a black women's debriefing circle and a black male debriefing thing. So if you guys hear this and have a thought, comment, let me know what you think about that, if this was something you would be interested in, or if there are any other topics, any ideas, or any things that you think that that you'd be interested in getting more information. Or do you want me to do another one of these? Because I was hoping that this would be really cool and informative, and we'd be able to do it every few Fridays or something. Make this my Friday thing. Okay, so I'm not seeing any activity, but it does say that I still have people on. You guys are still quiet. Oh, perfect. Thank you. Thank you. I'm gonna reach out to some people and see if I could get that going maybe in the next couple of weeks or something. So that's about all I have. If there are no more questions, I am gonna jump off and go, and please do another one, maybe once a month if possible. Okay. I'm definitely hoping to make this a more regular thing. So we'll see what happens. Maybe in a month, or maybe every once a month or twice a month is probably the most I'm thinking of doing it. So cool. Anything else? So thank you guys. Thank you everyone who came out. Vicky, thank you for especially, and thank you for being so engaged. And first name, last name, thank you so much for coming out. Friend, thank you, and thank you for coming, and thank you for asking questions. Thank you guys. Mac, thank you. Well, Mac came and hung out. Look at you, Mac. Thank you. Elize, thank you, because not only did you push the idea, you actually showed up and hung out. So cool beans. Vicky, Oh, I already said Vicky. Tara, thank you. Thank you for coming in. Thank you for asking questions. Who else asked the question? Um, Jen, thank you for coming and thank you for commenting. And Latasha, thank you so much for coming. And these are all the people who engaged. Everyone else, if you're here, I didn't shout you out because you didn't comment and I don't know that you're here, but everyone else who's here, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for hanging out and yeah, thank you so much. All right, I think that's it. Good morning. Oh, how does it go? Good morning, world. Have an awesome day.